Hello, and welcome to another episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. I'm Smokey. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you're at. Now, you might be asking yourself, why am I in a car? Well, that's because this is episode 15 of Stamp versus Stamp. That's my monthly stamp collaboration that I do with That Dad Guy. Every month, Rob and I team up to challenge each other to find stamps in a new, interesting, and informative way. And so this month's challenge is all about being out on the open road. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to task Rob with going to 5 different locations around his hometown. And at each location, he's got to show a stamp that corresponds to that location. And the same turn, he's going to do the same thing with me. He's going to give me 5 locations for me to find around my hometown. And then I've got to share with you 5 different stamps that relate to those different locations. So there are 2 videos being released, my video and then That Dad Guy's video. So make sure that you like and you subscribe to both channels, and of course watch both videos. So I'm in my car, buckled up, got my coat on because it's very cold outside. The only problem is I don't really know where I'm going. So Rob, where am I going first?
I'm standing in front of Heinz Restaurant here in Moncton. It is one of the bold family restaurants. You go here and get your all-day breakfast. You can get a good burger and fries, just typical food, family meals. And so your task is to find a restaurant in your community and find a stamp to go along with it.
Right now we're pulling up to the world famous Thorpedo restaurant. Now, the Thorpedo has been offering mouth-watering food from all-day breakfast to their famous Friday fish fries since 1965. It is a fact that many people who are traveling through Wisconsin make it a point to stop at the famous Thorpedo restaurant, sample their food, and have a slice of their famous homemade pie. Interesting is when we moved here from Oklahoma, the first night that we were in Wisconsin, this is where we had dinner. And it's a place that people from all over enjoy coming to eat at. So to depict the Thorpedo in a stamp, I've chosen this stamp here. This is from Norway. It's Scott number 1729. It was issued on January 2nd, 2014. It measures 24 by 35 millimeters. It's printed in offset lithography and has a face value of 15 Norwegian krone. Now, the reason I picked this stamp to represent the Thorpedo is because of the image on the stamp, and it's a waffle. And so most times when I visit the Thorpedo, I usually have breakfast, and 9 times out of 10, I have a waffle. They make a great, really thick, crispy waffle, and I smear it with butter and maple syrup, and it's really delicious. And so this stamp reminds me of that experience every time I go to Thorpedo and have a waffle.
Well, as our adventure continues, I find myself in front of my old high school. That is Moncton High School, at least the old Moncton High School. It's been replaced with another one now, a little bit further out of town. Doesn't have the same beauty as the old castle does, but your task is to find a school in your area and find a stamp to go along with it.
Well, right now you see Thorp Public Schools. This is the public schools for the entire town of Thorp, Wisconsin. It houses all the grades from pre-K all the way through 12th grade are housed in this one building. I did not go to school here. I went to school in Oklahoma, but one of our daughters did go to school here. And this school has a great staff, great administration, and very dedicated and wonderful teachers. I can't speak highly enough of this school. And this school is home to the Cardinals. The mascot for Thorp Schools is the mighty Cardinals, and their athletic teams also do very well every year in basketball, football, volleyball, track, cross country. Um, so just a wonderful school, and very, very honored that we have such a great school system here in the town of Thorp. When it comes to finding a stamp that represented the school here in the city of Thorp, um, this was a stamp that I had in mind from the beginning. This stamp is from the United States of America. It's Scott number 5533, issued on October 16th, 2020. It measures 21.3 by 30.25 millimeters. It has no face value as it is a forever stamp, but interesting to note that the price of this forever stamp in 2020, less than 5 years ago, was 55 cents. Today, the value of a forever stamp, if you go to the USPS and buy a first class postage stamp, it'll cost you 73 cents. This stamp is part of a series called Winter Scenes, and it features a northern cardinal. Now, I picked this stamp for lots of obvious reasons. One, because the mascot of the Thorpe school system is the Cardinals. Also, this is a northern cardinal, so this is a bird that we see in our area quite frequently. And I just love it that it's on a winter scene. It looks kind of like it looks outside right now. We don't have as much snow on the ground right now as is here, but it's coming. And I just think it's a beautiful stamp. The red cardinal really pops from the snowy background. And I think it's just a really nice example of a cardinal and a winter scene and a beautiful postage stamp. And so those are the reasons that I chose this U.S. stamp, Scott number 5533, to represent the school system here in Thorp.
Smokey, your next task is to find a church in your area. This is the church I've decided to go in front of. Our Lady of Assumption Catholic Church. It is the biggest church in the city, and it's been around since 1940. Kind of has the same look as some of the other buildings that we have around here that are of that age group too. So, good luck.
Well, here we are east of Thorp. We're just a little bit outside of Thorp, and we're driving down this county road. I'm taking you along and showing you the view because I think it's just a wonderful view. All right, here we are at St. Hedwig's Church. Now, we're just about a mile outside of Thorp. The first church was built on the outskirts of Thorp in 1891. This new brick building was constructed in 1906. In 1974, this church joined with St. Bernard's Catholic Church in town to become St. Hedwig's St. Bernard's Church. Both churches have a rich German and Polish history. As you can see, as of today, this church is no longer in use as a church, but there are people who are trying to get the church restored, and so hopefully one day it will, and those bells will ring out for service once again. Before we talk about this wonderful stamp that I've picked to represent a church, I wanted to explain to you why I showed you this particular church and not the church I pastor. There's a couple of reasons. One, the church that I pastor is under 30 years old, and this church that I'm showing you has been around for a very, very, very long time. Plus, I think the history of this church is just wonderful, and I want to call attention to the fact that there are some beautiful buildings all over the world that, if people would come together, could be restored and could be beautiful once again. And so when I look at St. Hedwig's, that's what I see. I see a church full of history and hopeful that in the future it will have new chapters to its story. So let's talk about this stamp here. I wanted to choose a stamp that highlighted the rich Polish history of St. Hedwig's Church, and this stamp certainly does it. This is issued by Poland, Scott number 3411, issued July 11th, 1998. It is 32 by 44 millimeters, printed by offset lithography, and is titled Orthodox Church. Now, this is from a stamp series of paintings by this artist Nikifor. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but he was a very wonderful artist. If you look him up, an artist really not respected for his artistic ability and genius till later in his life and even after his death. But I was really drawn to this stamp, even though it's an Orthodox church and not a Catholic church like St. Hedwig's is. The fact that this church is set out in the country, has the green fields around it, reminds me of St. Hedwig's, and I love the image and I love the stamp, and so that's why I've chosen it. And hopefully, you enjoy this stamp as well.
Smokey, I'm in a very fabulous place. I'm in front of a gas station, an Irving gas station to be exact. These are all over Atlantic Canada. The Irving family is a massive family as far as their wealth. They own the forest industry, they own newspapers, they own trucking companies, all sorts of different things. But oil and gas is one of the major things that they have. And I'm at this particular gas station because it has a special place in my heart. Back here is Hillcrest School. Not the elementary school that I went to, but kind of the rival school. I'm in my neighborhood that I grew up, and when I used to play baseball as a kid, one of the fields I played at was at the Hillcrest School baseball fields. And after I finished playing baseball, I brought my bike over to this particular Irving service station and bought freezies. So that's why I decided to come here. So your task is to find a gas station in your area and find a stamp to go with it.
How fortuitous this coincidence is, I just happen to need to fill up with gas, so I'm going to do that right here at Quick Trip. Well, if you've ever traveled through the Midwest here in the United States, then no doubt you are familiar with the convenience store chain Quick Trip. The first Quick Trip opened in 1960 in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and in 2023 it made its way here to Thorp. Quick Trip is the largest and most popular convenience store here in Thorp. Located right off of the highway, many people who are traveling through the state exit here in Thorp to stop at Quick Trip. Not only can you fill up with fuel for your car, but also fuel for your body. Quick Trip offers a wide range of food, and they make the food right there in the store and put it out on a hot bar. You can get cheeseburgers, you can get potato wedges. They are famous for their fried chicken, which is really, really good. And coming from a boy from the South, that's saying something. You can get pizza, Polish sausage, bratwurst. They have a soup bar with 4 or 5 different kinds of soup. For breakfast, they have sausage croissants and sausage biscuits and just lots of options. Plus, they have every variety of coffee that you could think or imagine. They also have a fresh bakery case where every day they bring in fresh donuts that's made in their corporate bakery, and they are also very, very delicious. So Quick Trip is a place that I spend a lot of time at whenever I'm filling up with gas or just wanting a little snack. Quick Trip's probably where I'm going to end up. So for gas station, I picked this stamp here. This was issued by the Dominican Republic. It's Scott number 819. It was issued on August 30th, 1979. It has a face value of 6 Dominican centavo, and I just really like this stamp. Most of you who are familiar with the channel know that I'm attracted to stamps that have bright, bold colors and images, and this one fits the bill. I mean, just look at that car on the stamp. It looks like a car that should have been driving around in the 70s. I just love that two-tone orange and yellow color. And of course, this stamp is pointing toward the importance of energy conservation, which is so important for all of us. So all around, just a really great stamp. And I hope you enjoyed this pick for gas stations.
All right, Smokey, I am here at Boar Park in downtown Moncton, and the reason I'm here is because it's a famous tourist spot for people to come to watch the tidal boar. That is when the tides shift, and when high tide comes in, there is a wave that comes up the Petitcodiac that, depending on the size of the tide, you can surf, and people surf it for miles or kilometers or kilometers, however you want to say it. It is quite impressive to see this river fill right up. Now, when it's at low tide, it may not be spectacular. It has mud silt banks and things, but when the tide does come in, it's spectacular. So they have these bleachers for seating to watch it come in, and we've got a statue in the background. So your task is to find a tourist spot in your area and a stamp to go with it.
Well, here we are at what I consider probably the greatest tourist spot in all of Thorp, and this is the Veterans Remembrance Park. It took 5 years of planning, but this past June 2024, this park was dedicated, and it features tablets and legacy stones that remember men and women who were in the United States Armed Forces and from the Thorp area. Now you'll notice right away that all the flags are at half staff. That's in remembrance and honor of former President Jimmy Carter, who passed away last week. The president has issued a order that the flags will be at half staff for the entire month, and then they'll go back to regular. But just a beautiful place of tranquility. You see benches, you see all the names here at the Veterans Park, and just a great spot, and a way to honor the brave men and women from this area who have served in the United States Armed Forces at home and around the world to defend our freedom. When it came to picking a stamp that was going to embody everything that the Veterans Remembrance Park embodies, this was a stamp that I had to choose. This, once again, is a stamp released by the United States Postal Service. It's Scott number 3508, issued on May 28th, 2001, printed by Offset Lithography, has a face value of 34 US cents, and is titled Honoring Veterans. So this stamp, I think, is just a beautiful representation of the stars and stripes, the American flag. This image on the stamp looks like they could have taken it from our Veterans Remembrance Park and just put it right on the stamp. And so because it has that wonderful image against the cloudy blue sky, it says honoring veterans, and then says continuing to serve, because our veterans do that. They continue to serve year after year, and we're so very honored and grateful for their commitment and their service to our nation. And so what a beautiful representation of a postage stamp. It shows patriotism, it shows American pride, and it honors those men and women who have fought and continue to fight and serve to protect the freedoms that we have here. Well, here I am back in my driveway, about to go into my warm house after being out on the road and finding what I think are some pretty fantastic stamps. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Thank you to that dad guy, Rob. Thank you for once again collaborating with me on this month's Stamp versus Stamp. It's always a great time collaborating with you and brainstorming, trying to find new and unique ways to challenge us that are fun and entertaining, and show the fun side of the philatelic hobby. So thank you, Rob. Also, a little disclaimer. I had different plans when shooting this video, but unfortunately life got in the way and I injured myself. I injured my knee, and so my knee swelled up and I wasn't able to maneuver around like I wanted to. So that's why you see a lot of the video that I shot from right here in the car, because to be honest, getting out and walking around, pretty painful. Nothing serious. I'll recover quickly. But if you're wondering why I shot it that way, that's why. So I hope you'll understand and give me a little bit of grace with that. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a big old thumbs up, and hop over to That Dead Guy's channel and watch his stamp versus stamp video. Of course, give him a subscribe, a like, leave positive comments. And if you've got an idea for next month's stamp versus stamp, leave that in the comments section of this video. And maybe next month, Rob and I will surprise you, and we'll be making a video from your suggestion. So thank you again, and until I see you next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.